What's your Tyler's back with retro reviews here on Tyler's Retro Reviews with the 1999 edition of Backlash, the first Backlash pay-per-view and all that. I'm going to get through the remainder of the 99 pay-per-views for WWF I hadn't talked about yet. Except for Over the Edge 1999, because that one does not get touched by a 10-foot pole for, well, we obviously know what about that one. But the ones I hadn't talked about is this one. I have this one you're watching right here. I have King of the Ring 99. I have Foley Lloyd 99. I have No Mercy. And I have Armageddon 99 to get through. And, yeah. Backlash is like a week away, so I want to do a Backlash pay-per-view. I mean, there's that. I only did 2 on this. You know, that's 04, which I hadn't talked about. Which I did. And the other one was, 2000, which was the following year. Which, you know, that was also there. On here twice. On my main channel and the secondary one on here also. This one you're watching and all that. Now we're on the way to May. Which, yes, there will be 2 WC reviews on here. I don't want to leave them under the bus, but it's kind of hard to get some of these on this channel now because of, well, there's that WC Vault channel that has some of the pay-per-views there, but I'll explain that next week. So there's that. Anyways, April 25th at the Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Sorry taking so long, been 2 minutes, and now let's get into the pay-per-view itself. So, there's that. Yeah, obviously this was actually better than WrestleMania 15 because the ones I had talked about for 99 back in 2024, Rumble 99, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, the only St. Valentine's Day Massacre, WrestleMania 15 obviously. There was SummerSlam 99 did in 2023, early in this channel. And I believe Survivor Series is the other one. Yeah, Survivor Series, which is on the second, which is also in 2024. So, yeah. But the rest of the Teenage Mutant Ninja 10, 16, and 11 will continue on. So, there's that guy. You forgot I was going to do those? Well, yeah. I said that earlier this year. I started in February, and I'm still doing it. You saw last week with lockdown. But anyways. Anyways, let's get into it. With a 6-man tag team match, the Ministry of Darkness of Bradshaw, Farouk, and Minion defeats the Brood of Edge, Christian, and Gangrel because the Brood was a part of the Ministry, but then Christian screwed up a few times. Undertaker wanted him to get, well, sacrificed and all that, but Edge and Christian says no, he's our pal and all that, and they left the Ministry on their own, so there's that, and they lose this match because Viscera got involved and all that. Jesus Christ, Viscera's been a lot in these reviews also. But yeah, it was a okay 6-man tag match, so yeah. And it's a good thing that the Brood left the Ministry because of what we're going to see later in 99. Oh, dear God. 5 out of 10 I'll give it. There's that. Something I also forgot to mention, this was like the last one they used the In Your House name for it, but you could barely see that In Your House over some point in this show. They just said Backlash and all that. And the whole In Your House thing was, I don't know why it continued after 97 and all that. like, it was the first name, and then there was a sub name into it. But then the Inner House name was a sub name after that. Whatever. Next up is a hardcore match for the Hardcore Championship. Al Snow defeats Hardcore Holly to win the Hardcore Championship. Oh my god, how many times I had to say hardcore a lot. But yeah, it was a fun brawl. They fight in the backstage area like every. It's like I'm playing old games and all that. Video games and all that. And, um, fight in the parking lot, and then it ends with Al Snow giving Hardcore Holly the maggot head. And, yeah. And there's that. It was a fun hardcore match. And title match also. 6.5 out of 10 I'll give it. Anyways, next up is for the Intercontinental Championship. The Godfather defeats Goldust to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Some point after WrestleMania, Goldust won the Intercontinental Championship for like a third time, and he would drop it to the Godfather like 2 weeks before this, and this is the rematch and all that. It was not needed. It was not necessary. It was a kind of a stupid. But the funniest part about it was there was a Goldust was going to do like throw powder in the Godfather's face or something like that, but Godfather reversed. Then Goldust gets into it, and then he thinks the Blue Mane is the Godfather, and Goldust gives him the ultimate shot in the family jewels, which is, shattered dreams and all that. And yeah, and Godfather won. 3 out of 10. I like both guys, but it was not a fun match at all. Anyways, next up is a number one contenders match to determine the number one contenders for the tag titles. The New Age Outlaws defeats Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart to become number one contenders for the tag titles. Unfortunately, it'll be Owen Hart's last pay-per-view match. Well, he would continue wrestling after this, but then we obviously know what happened. Hence why there's no Over the Edge review, because of, it doesn't get touched enough 10-foot pole. That's all I have to say about it. Anyways, this was a fine tag team match. Outlaws unfortunately would not be a team for, before Unforgiven 99, that is. So, actually, that's another review I actually did, Unforgiven 99. So, there's another one I did in 2024 also. So, there's also that. Still, I give a 6 out of 10 and all that. And then we got a Boiler Room Brawl, Mankind defeating the Big Show. This feud continued after WrestleMania. And, because we know at WrestleMania they had a match where they determined who will be the official referee for that match. And Mankind won by DQ and all that. This is the rematch of the Boiler Room Brawl, the second Boiler Room Brawl match. Yeah. It was a fun fight. Big Show was no longer in the corporation. And there was a lot of crazy spots they do in this match. Big Show chokes him and Mankind through table and some real glass. Oh no. Well, CM Punk does not want to be mentioned by that. But yeah, it all ends with Mankind getting out the door. This is not like the one in 96 where they fight, they leave the boiler room and then they go into the ring and all that. No, this time it's just you go out the boiler room and that was it. And then afterwards, Taz and the Boss Man attacks Mankind, and Big Show comes back up and attacks them both, and there's that. Taz Lee would not be in the corporation that much longer after this as well. The next night on Raw. What is this leading to? We'll get to that. Yeah, a fun boiler room brawl. And yeah, it was a fun one. So there's that. Um, 7 out of 10 will give it. It was fun. It was actually, it was actually better than the WrestleMania match. And yeah, then we get Triple H defeating X-Pac. This was basically an implosion of DS. Because of what happened at WrestleMania where Triple H turned on X-Pac and joined up the corporation because of the... We all thought China was back in DS, but no. They did a double turn where they didn't do it right away in that match. They teased it near the European match and all that. And during this build, by the way, Kane and X-Pac were the tag team champions. So Kane comes out to help X-Pac, but that didn't help him that much. Because Triple H won with the pedigree, and we all know Triple H would be world champion by not at SummerSlam, but the Raw after SummerSlam 99. In case you noticed, I already did that Raw. And also the Nitro as well, but as I said about that one, the better, but still. Also the January 4th one as well, but anyways. An 8 out of 10 I'll give it. It was a great match. Then we get the other here defeating Ken Shamrock. It was kind of slow, but it was a technical based match, but yeah, that crowd was really not into this. But yeah, I mean, this is... I was what keep mentioning about the higher power, which... Yeah, more of that when I do King of the Ring in June and all that. And, yeah. Taker won. It was thanks to interference from Bradshaw and all that, and it was a 5.5 out of 10, I'll give it. Anyways, then we get the main event, the no-holds-barred match for the WWF Championship with Sheamus, the special guest referee. So, Austin wanted Smokey Skull belt back. But then Shane said, hey Austin, if you want your precious Stone Cold Smokey Skull belt, it is around the waist of The Rock and all that. This led to a rematch, of course, with Shane serving as the referee. And this led to the moment where Rock, we thought he threw the Smokey Skull belt out off the bridge into the river, but of course we had the next week on Raw, the last Raw before Backlash, where he had this Mongol Skull belt with him, and he said he's gonna bury this piece of monkey trash like your career and all that, and then Stone Cold comes back in a monster truck and all that, destroyed the Rock's car, and then he did it to the hearse. This led to Austin reclaiming it, but then Shane hits him with a shovel and all that. And this led to this match here for the like I said, with Shane McMahon, the special guest referee, and all that. Stone Cold did defeat The Rock to retain the title. It was a fun best match on the night. Type matchup. Rock, he grabs the camera from the cameraman and he does the flip out in front of the camera, and then he says, "Watch it live," and all that. And then there's Stone Cold gives him the middle finger and stunt. It was fucking hilarious and all that. Shane was, is a heel referee. He was not gonna let Stone Cold win with him around. This led to a really short-lived ref bump. Rock brought bottom and Shane gets back up and puts the Rock on top of him. Stone Cold kicks out. Then Shane grabs the championship. He missed. Stone Cold, he inadvertently hits the Rock. And then he goes for the 1-2, and just like Survivor Series, he flips Austin up, but Austin was the get Shane and all that, because also there's a added stipulation if Steve Austin attacks Shane, he'll get disqualified and Raw wins the title like that, but we always know that's not going to happen. And then Vince comes out with another referee, was Earl Hebner, yeah. Shane, was saying, "What are you doing with that? Give me that." And Vince just hits Shane in the face with the belt, and then the regular referee comes in, and Austin won by that. But we're not done yet. By like 8.5 out of 10, And, Stephanie was in the limousine, by the way. Before this match, and she was going in the limousine, but then Vince wants to do something about it, but then we all know about that. Then the rest of the ministry comes in, and one of them says, "Go, go, go," and all that, but then he says, saying, "Wait for his," or saying, "Driver, wait," and all that, and then this was, and then the answer was the one who was driving it. He says, "Where to, Stephanie?" I know it's supposed to be like a serious, like, "Oh my god, he got her," and all that, but the way he said, "Where to, Stephanie?" I can't help but laugh. This or "Buckle up, Teddy." I think the other one was funny also, but yeah, this led to the Black Wedding and all that, with Stone Cold helps him, and this led to not the first actual episode of SmackDown, it was like a pilot episode. That's to the corporate ministry, and yeah. Rock left, he turned babyface after this the next night, because I think the company knew that Rock is too damn over as a babyface. So yeah. And there's that. It was 8.5 out of 10 I'll give the main event. And overall Backlash, decent pay-per-view, So there's that. 6.8 out of 10 I'll give it. So next week we WC Spring Stampede 1994 going into it. And then after will be Sacrifices 2006 and 2011. And Slamboree 94 and all that. For the rest for May. And there's that. Like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, notification bell, and tomorrow will be my SmackDown video also. And there. We're done for tonight. Bye-bye.